Hi, I'm Lynn and I'm a cake decorator and tutor from West Wales. The name of my company is Lynn's Cake Creations. I've got a little bit of spare time on my hands at the moment, so I thought it would be an opportunity for me to put a couple of videos together to show those of you who'd like to start cake decorating the techniques in covering a cake with buttercream and then sugar paste, and then doing simple cutout decorations and possibly some unwired sugar flowers to put on an alternative cake. I'm going to split the videos into 4 so that you can work through each one. The first one will be buttercream in a sponge cake ready for sugar pasting. The second will be covering the cake with sugar paste. The third will be doing simple cutouts, and the fourth will be doing simple unwired flowers. In producing the videos, I've tried to use equipment and materials that you would have in the house, so you don't have to actually go out and buy lots of different things. But I will give you advice as to equipment and materials that you can purchase if you want to. Okay, I look forward to starting it. Hi, so on to the next stage. This video is going to show you how to sugar paste your already buttercreamed sponge cake. So here we go. For sugar pasting, you only need very little equipment. First thing you need is a rolling pin. Use any rolling pin that you have available in the house. So you've got your rolling pin. I then use cool boiled water and a pastry brush to moisten the surface of the cake after it's come out of the fridge, so the sugar paste will stick to the cake surface that much easier. I have a sharp knife, a pin if we have any air bubbles, and a sugar shaker for icing sugar on the surface, and we need our sugar paste. So let's start. I'll move all of these to the side. So initially, I've taken my cake out of the fridge, and can you see I can push it and it's really quite nice and firm. If you'd used any of the soft margarines, you wouldn't be able to do this with it because it just doesn't go firm enough. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to moisten the surface with some cool boiled water. It's quite a good thing you need to get moisture over the whole surface to avoid having any air bubbles. I am going to moisten the board as well because I would like to cover cake and board all in one. The cake always looks that much better to have icing on the board. It looks more professional. So you can see the water is splashing about a bit here. That's why I do it before I've actually rolled the paste out, because I don't like to get these splashes on the surface of the sugar paste, as they're quite difficult to get off afterwards. Okay, I'm going to have glasses on and off for this demonstration because my eyesight isn't too grand now, so I can see that the surface is fully coated. There we are. So I can do this before I roll out the paste because of because it's just come out of the fridge and it's quite cool, the water won't evaporate away. If you use an alcohol, then that will tend to evaporate away a little bit quicker. So I'm just wiping the surface down to get rid of any splash marks. Dry it off with my tea towel. And then we get on to the nice job of sugar pasting. Now, I went to the supermarket yesterday, so I thought I'd get one of the own brand supermarket sugar pastes. Obviously, I was in Co-op, so I got that. All of the major stores have their own branded sugar pastes, so you can try any of them. I got this one just to show that you can use any sugar paste from the supermarket. Some can be stickier than others or softer, but it is quite good to have a coolish environment to work in. Now you can see what I'm doing is I'm kneading the sugar paste. and I'm kneading it a little bit like dough so that I'm bringing all of the paste to one point on the paste, the ball of paste. So you've got all of the joins on the underside. So you can see that this now is the side that goes on the surface of the board or your rolling surface. I am going to sprinkle a little bit of icing sugar to help prevent the icing from sticking, but my surface is quite good. It normally doesn't stick too badly. I've got my rolling pin, got a circle, my ball of paste. What I'm aiming to do now then is rolling backwards and forwards in one movement. Do it about 4 or 5 times, turn. You want to do the same, backwards and forwards, put in even pressure on the whole of that rolling pin, turn again. If you see that the paste is sticking, then it perhaps is a good idea just to add a little bit more icing sugar. But you can see from this paste it's fine, it's not sticking to my surface. And as I'm twisting and turning, it's moving quite easily. And then I'm going to roll this paste to about a 15-inch circle, perhaps a little bit more, because my cake is a 7-inch cake and it's about 4 inches deep. So I need the 7 inches measurement along the top and then 2 lots of 4 inches, which gives me 15 inches. So I'm continuing to turn. The paste is moving quite freely, so I can move it quite happily with my hands. If it gets quite big and you struggle and you get marks in it, you can always pop it over your board, turn it around. Don't flip it over, just turn it around. Bring it up again. You're looking to roll your paste out to about 4 to 5 millimeters thick, which I'm not far off here now. You can always measure it if you want to with a tape measure, but I will do it by eye. Okay, so I'm carrying on rolling, and I'm sure that's going to be big enough for my cake now. I always like to work from right to left when I'm putting my sugar paste on my cake, so I'm just going to move my paste over and I'm going to bring my cake back into the screen so you can see it there. I don't put the full pressure of the rolling pin onto the icing now. I try and just hold it above it and flip it over. Bring my cake in front of me, and I want to get the icing just to sit on the edge of the board, and then I just unravel it. Okay, bring it back into vision. What you want to do to start with is just a little bit of pressure, getting rid of any air that you might feel in the top of the cake. Now then, if you've got a smoother, you can use your smoother just to help flatten the surface. If you haven't, you can just use a little bit of sugar paste, a bit of spare sugar paste. I'm just softening it a little bit because there's a bit that I had spare in the bag. And then just roll it onto the surface just to smooth it off, and then you can use that to smooth off your top surface. Once you've done that, I'll leave that to the side. You want to encourage the icing down the cake, but you don't want to pull it down. So to start off with, just bring your hand in along that top edge just to secure the paste against the cake, and that will hopefully stop it tearing or cracking. Now it is quite important that you work quite quickly when you're doing this, especially if it's warm, because the surface of the cake, the paste will start drying and you could get crack marks on it and elephant skin. So once you've done that, come back to the front now, and I'm encouraging the paste down the side of the cake. Okay, just working it down, and it covers the board as well. move around, lift it up, make sure you don't pull it away from the cake, and gently use your hand just to encourage that paste down the side of the cake. Turn around again. Now you can see we've got a few folds there, but if you just open it up, you'll get rid of those, and just encouraging it down again, opening it around the base. And I always work over the cake. I find it much easier. Use your hand just to make sure that the paste is sitting and sticking onto the surface of the cake. There we are. So we're carrying on going around. We're coming to the end now. So you can see there's a bit of a gap here. So just open it out and encourage it down to sit on the board. Okay, so you can see I've worked all the way around, and when I'm using my hand, I'm using this part of it, the palm of it and this part. Tend not to use my fingers, because if you use your fingers too much, you're inclined to get finger marks on the paste. So if you get used to using that part of the hand, it is better. Now then, if you've got a smoother, you can go around with your smoother and just encourage that paste in onto the cake. Okay, as you're going around. If you haven't, just use that piece of paste that you had and use that to encourage it around. Now that you can see I've got a little bit of a fold there, just open it out and use the paste to work a nice sort of square edge at the bottom there. And we'll carry on working our way around. By using the paste, you're less likely to get indentations on the side of the cake. That you cause from your fingers. Although I've said sharp edges are quite popular at the moment, what I think it is better for you to do is just learn how to cover the cake quite cleanly before you start to tackle getting nice square edges. You can see with this, because the cake underneath was quite square from the buttercream, it has got a slightly square edge, not really sharp, but it is sort of squarish. There we are. So you can leave it like that. And then we've got all of the spare icing on the board, so what we want to do, just want to cut that away. So if you get your knife, bring it into the edge of the board and just cut the paste away. And then I quite often find that the knife gets clogged. It is always worth just cleaning the knife as you go, because otherwise it'll drag the paste a little bit. I'll go back this way so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm just running the knife level with the board. So the spare paste we can just put to the side now. And it's always important to cover this up. The longer you leave it open to the air, the drier it will become. And then I'm going to finish off with my smoother. So I'm just going around the edges. You can see that's brought the paste in a little bit on the board, but I'm not going to worry about that. And I didn't put an awful lot of moisture on the board. You can see it's lifting up a little bit. So I'm just going to go back with my brush and my moisture. To get the icing to stick a little bit more firmly to the board. Now you may look at this and think, oh, Lynn's cut that too short. But what you will find, you can use your hand or you can use your paste again, and you can encourage that icing to come to the edge of the board. Again, if you've got a smoother, use your smoother, and that will bring the icing right up to the edge of the cake board. Okay, so you can see it's bringing it over in places, so what I will do is I'll just go back and trim that off. There we are, so that's nicely covered. Again, I quite often will just go over with a bit of icing, just to make sure there are no marks or indentations on the cake or any air bubbles. And we're looking okay at the moment. So, as I say, encourage that paste to the edge of the board, and we'll cut it off once again. Just tidying it off so you get a nice neat edge level with the edge of the board. And those bits, you can use those again, they haven't dried out too much. So you see, I'm cleaning the edge of my knife all the time because it has got a tendency to drag if there's any paste sticking to the edge. Okay, so that's all covered. Now then, I think I can, no, I think we're fine there. So that is your sugar paste cake, well, your sponge cake, all covered with sugar paste, nice and neatly, so it's all ready for your decoration to go on. As I say, this demonstration, I just wanted to show you how you could cover a cake nice and cleanly with icing. If you wanted to colour the icing, quite happy to do that. You can use any of the sugar flare colours. You can buy coloured icings as well. So yeah, the world's your oyster. So hopefully you've enjoyed that and you're eager to have a go at it. The next demonstrations, I'll be showing you how to do some cutout work, which will be suitable for putting on top of this cake. Okay, speak to you soon.